Hello and welcome to the Unnamed Reverse Engineering Podcast. I am your host, Alvaro, and today with me is...
Still Jen.
Still Jen.
I promised
that's
myself
it.
I wouldn't laugh. Yeah, that's it.
There's no guests today. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye. No.
Wait. Wait, you're thanking me or are you thanking them, the audience?
I'm saying goodbye, yes.
Okay, bye guys, bye. Perfect episode.
Yeah, I guess the reason we're here, we should tell everyone, well, because we haven't done a podcast in a while and because we have a podcast, but somebody somebody let me know a few weeks ago that, hey, isn't it your 5-year anniversary coming up for the podcast? Which did not.
Alvaro, did you get me anything for our 5-year anniversary? I don't want to
Nope.
put you on the spot. Okay, well, that's good because I got you nothing. But maybe I'll reveal something later.
Oh, I don't have anything, so we'll see.
Sucks
We'll figure
to be
something
you.
out. Yeah, I can send you. Oh, you gave me some stickers. I got stickers.
I did give you some stickers. At least it wasn't at a donut shop parking lot.
No, it was at a train station.
Yes, it
at
was
the famous Caltrain, which we talked about last time.
In my head now, I can't decide if Caltrain is for getting away or for, like very awkward, like Cold War, like departures.
Yeah, we both were on our bicycles and did a sticker exchange.
Mm-hmm. You got the stickers.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
And then I put them in little baggies and I handed them out at tour camp.
Ah. Speaking of which, how did that go?
Oh, I mean, well, depends on your perspective. If you're asking about how it went podcast-wise, I did not interview anyone. I was having too much fun.
And that's why we don't have an exciting number 60, guys.
But on the other hand, it was so much fun. I actually met a few listeners, some Patreons, supporters like Gottman and Redbeard, and we got some new ones. Thank you, Drew, from Osh Park.
Thank you, Drew. Always excited
awesome.
to have you.
Also met up with some past guests, Joe Grand, with Jarrett Boone and a few other MX Shift, Rick.
Yes.
Rick out there.
Don't. He's gonna listen to this. Like if I have it correct, and maybe you have the numbers up here, I believe he has the number 1 downloaded listened to podcast.
That is not correct.
No, it used to be.
Yes. He maybe the top guest. I think. Yeah. So we can go into numbers in a little bit. But I guess some of the old episodes just have that many listens. But anyway, yeah, tour camp was a ton of fun. I got to see friends that I hadn't seen in way too long. I played a bunch of games, contests. Shout out to the Psychoholics, the crew from Vegas. That they organized some pretty awesome contests, and I just had a blast.
So you did have a meetup. So is that where you saw all the listeners, or?
Oh yes, we did have a meetup. I totally forgot about that.
Well, thank God I wasn't there, so I remembered to mention it.
Yeah, we did a little mini meetup, just with a few folks, and yeah, it was fun. We probably chatted an hour and a half. We were freezing our butts off, but it was a fun time.
Awesome. Let's see what else has been happening.
I mean, yeah, it's been 5 years. This is our 60th episode, so we're averaging one a month, which is better than I hoped.
Considering that we didn't know how long this was going to last, that's actually a big breakthrough.
Well,
so,
it's 5 years.
Yeah, it's 5 years. So what's changed for you in 5 years?
Oh man, like I think I'm on my 3rd job. I had a sabbatical in there, aka I quit my job to travel, and then COVID happened.
So that just means you quit your job, I think.
Well, I was going to travel. That was my intention.
I got that. But
then a week later, we were in lockdown. Yeah, definitely not.
So you just quit your job. It wasn't really a sabbatical. It was, I quit.
Well, I call them self-funded sabbatical. So because this is my second one.
Yes.
I live in San Francisco now. I used to be in the South Bay, so I have not made as many of the Mountain View Reverse Engineering meetups.
Nope, I have not seen you at one.
I don't have a car.
That's another big change.
Yeah, I don't have a car. Yes, I have a bicycle. That's my
Yeah.
only mode of transport.
Mhm.
I yeah, it's been fun. I did go to Hardware IO for the last half day. I did.
Yes, I remember.
It was
It did not
unplanned.
help with any interviews.
No, you can hear me talking loudly in the
Yes, you
background
can,
during.
but you were not helping.
Yeah, yeah, that was an unplanned appearance, but it was fun. Another cool thing, I only work 4 days a week now, which has been a great life change. So
Mhm.
for the past year, I've only worked Monday through Thursday, basically, and I highly recommend it to anyone who can get away with it. It's great.
So what do you know what types of things are you know, just like general well-being and lack of anxiety or something like that, or
Oh, just more time. Yeah, the 3 day weekend every weekend. Get to travel a bit more. Like
Yeah.
weekend trips can now actually I can actually enjoy the time instead of like, oh, we gotta get there, gotta get back.
Mhm.
Work on personal projects, kind of give myself a break more. I'm already on the computer too much and have all sorts of problems with my hands and arms. And having fewer days of working helped me not,
Be in pain all the time?
overstress myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did have to pull back on a lot of my hobbies because of that. Because if computing brings you pain, stop doing it. But I do try to balance it a bit. And I've been working on some debugging projects and
Mhm.
some hardware. Like I probably post. It's the only thing I post about on Twitter. I don't post much, but my
Yeah.
side project, making cheese. I still make cheese.
Yep.
But yeah, nothing too
Have
crazy.
you have you expanded your range of cheeses in 5
I
years?
tried.
Was it the cheddar?
No, no, no. I haven't done hard cheeses because those require
Time and space.
a press. Well, I have I have the time, um, but the people couldn't see your face with that one.
What did I do?
I said I have the time. You just went like I don't know how to describe your face, but it was like slightly yeah.
So,
Um,
like, time. Mm.
yeah. I try. So I mostly make kind of brie camembert style cheeses,
Mhm.
and we're going back to there was a podcast in this and an episode in this podcast about there was a lot of cheese talk, but I'll be quick. And I was trying to make a different one. It's called Mont d'Or, which
Mhm.
is it's got bark like spruce bark around it,
Uh-huh.
and then it's a wash rind.
Mhm.
And I tried it 3 times, and I failed 3 times in 3 different ways.
Did you just make different liquids?
No, 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 just different bad mold started growing on them, and I didn't,
Oh,
or they dried out. But
uh-huh.
I will try them again another time. I'm just doing a couple of consolation recovery breeze to get back into it.
Am I on your list to receive a brie this year?
I mean, anyone who asks can get in on there.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
officially putting my name on the brie if
All
as
right.
of it actually happened in time, not when it actually gets published to the audience.
Yeah. Now you will be notified
Yes.
before I notify
Okay.
everyone else.
I wanna see you write that down
So
on
it's
the
in
brie
here. I'm
list.
pointing in my head. Debris list. Debris
Debris
list. Ah.
debris
Debris
list?
list sounds like just like
It's a
a
list of
garbage
shit
list.
that I have, like
Yeah.
yeah.
You're on my debris list.
I want this would make an interesting shirt. It's like debris list. Just be like in like kind of
It's like a podcast title for cheese.
yeah, but there already is one that hasn't been updated in a long time.
Yeah, Behind the Rhine didn't have season 2. They
I
said they were going
know.
to, and
You should
I was
contact them
quite
and say,
sad.
"Yo," say, "Yo,
I miss
can
it.
I if you're not gonna do it, we're gonna come up with debris list." It's a list of bries and other types of cheese.
No, I do have other podcast ideas, but it's not cheese related.
A review of food trucks.
Oh, that would just be
That would
delicious.
be
But
because there is a food truck just for this is very controversial. There is a Choco Taco food truck. They just make custom Choco Tacos. But then after I saw that food truck, 2 weeks later, they announced the demise of the old style original Choco Taco.
they're
But
bringing it
si
back.
but now they're bringing it back.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's just a waffle cone open face style, warm to, like, get to kind of a cup shape, and then bada boom, bada bing, chocolate and whatevers. I added Italian in there for reasons I don't know.
It's like a cannoli, I guess.
It's like an open face cannoli, but
Choco
also a
taco.
tortilla, street style.
Wow. Other things that have changed, well, things that have not changed are our podcasting abilities. We're
Nope, not
still
one iota.
not zero has improved. I feel like our sound quality has improved. We have
Yes.
new mics.
Yeah.
We now use Zencaster. Before we were
Yeah.
really winging it with Audacity and Skype and
Yep.
yeah.
And luck.
Well, I don't know if you remember, we a few times the guest would record with a different frequency, like
Mhm.
sampling, right? Like one would
Yep.
be 48 kilohertz, and then one of us would be 44.1, and then the
Yep.
editing was just
Yeah.
ugh.
I
And
think
then
we got
also
I think we got through that. I think there was a time when my computer up and died,
that was not that long ago,
and then
though.
it didn't record.
That was not that long
I
ago.
know.
Um,
One of the first times, and then, like, we had to go back, and it for whatever it didn't record my side, but it recorded everyone else's, and so, like, I took the ownership of that, and I literally went back right after we did the podcast, and I re-recorded myself filling in with everything that I said during that time
I think I
before I
remember.
forgot.
Early days, I would record the Skype call itself, which was kind
Yeah.
of everyone's audio mixed
Yep.
together. So
Yep.
it was not great, but
Yep.
it was a backup.
Yep.
I mean, I almost did it today when I record with the wrong dime microphone because Zencaster was like, "Oh yeah, you're using your nice microphone," and I was not. So
Yes.
I am now, thankfully.
Thank
But
God. You
that's
scratched all the
happened.
microphones to prove it.
Yeah, I won't scratch them live, but there's that for editing. I personally have switched. I used to use Audacity for all the editing, and now I'm using Ferrite on my
Yeah.
iPad, and it's
Mhm.
pretty awesome. I'll probably do a video on how I'm doing that because I know some people have been curious.
Yeah, I'm kinda curious about that because 'cause I'm using something else on the iPad for something else. But you know what? You haven't asked me what I've been doing the last 5 years. You just been
I
talking
was
about
gonna get
cheese.
there.
Okay.
I, I just figured like I'll do my thing, and then was like, okay,
Okay.
we're done talking about Alvaro for the rest of the podcast. Now we go to Jen.
Which is a substantially shorter update.
Oh,
I don't think so. I don't know. I have no idea. I didn't plan this. You called me, you're like you texted me, you're like, "Jen, we should do a podcast."
well, we were gonna do it like a week or two ago, and we just didn't. So
We've been busy, and then tomorrow's busy, so we just did it, like, a couple hours after you texted me. So
yeah, this is
if we're not
midday Friday.
overwhelming you with information and insight, and we're completely underwhelming you, this is why. We're completely unplanned and completely off the cuff.
That's
Um,
supposed to, yeah. No, that there's more
not supposed to
planning normally.
reveal, but you know what, Mike Ryan on the last one, he said, like, "They do give us questions." I am I am
Well,
aware of
not
what's
this
gonna be.
time.
No, not this.
But all right, 5 years ago to now, what happened?
I have not changed my job, not once, and that is a huge change. Why? Because prior to that, I had basically been changing my job every 9 months to a year and a half for the previous 20 years.
Wow. So is this your longest
Stint by
time at a company?
by quite a butthole, yes. But
Wow.
yeah, like, just a lot, like, a huge amount of time. It's shocking. Does that mean I'm happier? No. But I think the biggest improvement now for me personally in the last month is I now have a robot. I sit in a lab, I have a robot that sits next to me, I put googly eyes on it, it's fantastic.
And you get paid?
I get paid to sit next to a robot and have him do things.
That sounds cool.
That is not the product, people. It's an X-Arm 6. I call him Sam with an X. Let's see what else has changed. I'm still dancing. Oh, biggest thing you guys have heard over and over again, I do voiceover now. Yeah, I do a lot of voiceover.
Where can people hire you?
You can hire me directly by going to my website, which is jencastillo.com.
Oh, not
And
Rebelbot?
You have to make a separate one because motherfucker. Oh, sorry. The voiceover establishment likes it when you have your own branding and everything. And my branding is primarily centered around me being the friendly hacker.
Okay, cool.
Your
I did not
friendly,
know that.
rebellious hacker. Yep. So gotta have that branding there. So completely
Cool.
broke that out. Also, I did not want to deal with the fact that, let's see, 5 years ago, I had a consultancy that, named Rebelbot, and now people think that I might also be selling NFTs in a fictionalized world of robots. I am not. That BS is still going on.
But
Oh my
less.
god. So that I guess that's another change. Let's see. I'm now an award-winning choreographer, and I wasn't 5
What?
years ago.
Congratulations.
That
Did I
was in
know that?
2019. Other big changes for those of you who love technology. I'm gonna bore the crap out of you, warning. I no longer wear Gainer Minden point shoes. They've changed how they do the build, so now I'm back to traditional point shoes, which I never thought I would do after 20 plus years. This is a big change for those of you who are at all skilled in the art of ballet and know what I'm talking
I
about.
wonder what the intersection is of reverse engineering podcast listeners and ballet
Ballet?
dancers.
I don't know. I'd be really if you are, reach out to me. Let's see what else has changed. I finally doing what I since I'm now in a better place at work where I'm not running around producing wearable. Oh yeah, I stopped doing wearables after 10 years.
Yay.
Yay. I now have the mental space to do other stuff, so I am also putting on my own show full of my choreography. So I've hired dancers, I have a theater, I'm doing
What?
ongoing rehearsals. Yep,
That is cool.
that is, yep.
Is that the thing for this weekend?
No, that's another voiceover class learning how to
Oh,
do
okay.
motion capture voiceover.
Cool.
Yep. So tight clothes and voiceover. It's a thing.
I mean, that's probably similar to some of the dance stuff, right?
I think that's a lot of the reason why requested me to be in this class or offered up that opportunity for me to do this in the class.
Cool.
So who knows? One day maybe I'll be signed. I'll be doing really boring commercials. Thus far, I have a slappy squirrel impression, and people say I remind them of the Viridian Dynamics voiceover, which is weird.
And a podcast.
And a podcast. And I have a podcast.
Got to start somewhere.
Yeah, I guess so. Let's see. I think that's mostly it. I'm not making cheeses other than goat cheese, but I do eat a lot of cheese, so maybe that's the crossover there with Alvaro. I've recently gotten on the Brie List. For those of you who haven't been keeping tabs. I'm trying to think what else. I just haven't had that much time for reverse engineering, unfortunately, because it requires more concentration.
Yeah, it does take time. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And that's why we'll continue to talk to other people that have more time.
Oh, here's one. I'm going to be in the next issue of Make Magazine.
What?
Yes. Not for
Double what?
Double what?
I'm like, there's still a Make Magazine.
Yes. It's a quarterly. I think it was always a quarterly, though.
Oh. What are
They
you
are
on for?
bringing it back, and Kitty Huang, I'm probably not Huang? Kitty, yes.
Art by physicist.
Kitty, yes, thank you. She is in an article with me and another person about how we are using how we're working with fabric. And since I had been making fabric using computers to design fabric, I was basically going through those processes. So I had been using music sampling to generate different like plaids and other patterns to make outfits. I've been doing that for a while. Yep. Yep, I've been busy. I hope you guys aren't upset that I'm not talking about JTAG.
Oh, I can talk about. I'm actually going to be talking like a minor pitch. Not a pitch, I guess, but letting people know I'm going to be on a panel with Memfault, with the folks from Memfault and Embedded Artistry, and it's a panel about debugging. I think it's on the 25th of August.
Cool.
And that we're going to be talking about debugging in production and a bunch of stuff. So, if you're interested, I'll have a link in the show notes and come, I guess, hang out or observe. I don't know what the
I think
verb is.
Excuse me. I think the other thing that's been kind of interesting for me, or has been changing, is I've been talking more openly about, or giving more talks about, our use of technology and ethical uses of technology.
Yeah, man, you did that at SuperCon, right?
Well, I did. At SuperCon, I talked about how our technology adoption curve is kind of skewed, and that the primary source of innovation seems to be these days, in the United States anyway, seems to be centered around open source and maker-based contributions, and less about research. I now work in research, by the way. And yes, it moves very glacially slow. So there's that. There's also the, I think when we were on that podcast, Opposable Thumbs, we were talking about survival, and I think I took it in a way of like surviving the robot apocalypse.
Right. Yeah.
And I think I've been evolving heavily on that, in that I don't think there's any ethical way for us to ever use robots, both in terms of safety and responsibility. And then I'm also pretty much, I mean, it's pretty obvious, I think, to most people, but it just kind of seems like robotics is just another proxy or word for slavery.
But what about like robotic surgeons?
I don't know if I thought deeply enough about that, but I'm talking about drivers, or our ability to tolerate robots making errors and mistakes, which is, we don't really have a tolerance for that. This would be a good chance for us to bring Brittany onto the show.
Ooh, that would be a good one.
Just brainstorming on the top of my head, because I'm sure she has a lot to say on that matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I feel like there's a whole big area of ethics that we as hackers have not been, I think we're probably closer to tap dancing onto that than the consumer marketplace, which is really eager to have robots in the home. I mean, Amazon's basically throwing them in there as we speak.
Well, Amazon just sneakily got into my home.
Damn!
By purchasing iRobot.
Yep, that's hot off the presses today.
I know. I used to have an Alexa, the first one that came out, to play with it, but I sold it early on, and I had not had any Amazon devices, and then now I do.
Yep. We only keep one in our house. We only have one, and that's the one I specifically worked on, and I know how that part of the Alexa works. So I know how I know when it could record and when it can't. Yeah. So what are you going to do with your Roomba?
I was going to keep sweeping the floor, I guess. Like, I don't know. This is the non-camera version, thankfully. It'll still map it'll know how big my rooms are, but
yeah, it still doesn't. But the truth of the matter is, like, Roomba still has not solved the poop problem.
Correct. And let me go close my window real quick, because they're zing.
I hear beeps. Beep, 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 beep. What's all that beeping about? Beep, 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 beep. Better close the door.
Turns out it is not my window. They're vacuuming right outside my door.
The robot apocalypse is, they're trying to get in.
I thought it was a leaf blower.
I'm laughing my ass off.
Amazon.
The robots want in.
Oh, there it goes. Hopefully y'all didn't hear the vacuum, but I did, and it bothered me.
Boop, bop. Let us in.
We haven't done any robot-centric episodes, right?
No, we haven't. But I mean, what are we going to talk about? That time that John got a bomb-sniffing robot
To the reverse engineering. Oh no, to pick up a delivery during
to pick up a
COVID.
delivery for the reverse engineering. You
Yes,
know,
that was fun.
that was fun. But we should. I think we should have some roboticists or something on.
I'm sure there's robot reversing, or at the very least, like the components that go into robots, like motor controllers and that kind of stuff. So
PID loops. How a PID loop can go bad.
you don't need reverse engineering to do that,
No,
though.
just let me do it.
Yeah, just let me tweak the parameters.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I guess the last 5 years, podcast wise, have been a lot of fun. We've gotten to chat with so many awesome people.
Yep.
Some people I've looked up to for
decades,
15
even.
plus years,
Yeah.
And then getting to chat with them, getting to hear their stories, ask questions. It's been a ton of, like, I guess it's working. We've been using this as an excuse to talk to fun people, like every other group with
that's
podcasts.
been the primary mission statement. And I think it's made it a lot easier to go to conferences and not kind of be like a little wallflower.
I had a press pass with DEF CON last I went, which I will not be at DEF CON this time. But have fun, everyone.
Are selling delegates. We are okay.
Oh, you're saying? Oh, yeah, that's right.
Okay. So, audience, hey, maybe you want to go to DEF CON. Maybe you don't. But if you do, go find John McMaster. Go find Mike Ryan. They're both going to be there. They will have stickers. I promise you. Unless I fuck up and don't give them to them next Wednesday.
And they should be free. Do not pay for stickers, please.
Yeah, don't let them hack you like that.
Yeah, they might try.
Mike Ryan's like, oh my God, I don't have to do any consulting for a while. I got all this cash.
Yeah,
I figured another vulnerability.
He can send them, sell them in the underground sticker market.
Yeah, I think there's like, I think I saw like, is it Athleta? I'm probably messing up her name. She had a big bundle of stickers that she was showing today for DEF CON too.
There's a lot of folks on Twitter. Yeah.
StickerCon is a thing.
Yep.
I think so. That said, the next two big ones are Remoticon, which is no longer remote. It's in Persicon, aka SuperCon. How many more names can I tack onto this? There's that one. Are you planning on going to that?
It's at the same time as another conference. So
I know. And that one I kind of want to go to, but I don't think I'm going to be able to.
Yeah.
Also,
well, we shall see.
We shall see.
No promises.
Yeah. Here was the other thing that I was working on. I've been working on a talk about providing access or doing your own abortion.
That sounds like dangerous.
Yes.
But necessary? Question mark?
You know what? Let me put it this way. I personally haven't had to be in a place where I've had to do that, nor am I going to shame anyone who has. But, and I'm sure the audience is eager to hear about this. I have my tubes tied, but I'm motherfucking pissed off that legislators are even remotely putting back on the books that they will not provide assistance for those of you who may have an endoscopic pregnancy, which is basically y'all gonna die.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
So I am very pissed off at that prospect. And therefore, I'm motherfucking gonna make sure that all the information is out there. Now, that primarily means making your own pills, getting access to pills, etc. But I was able to find the book, and it was very hard, let me put it this way. And I am more than willing to share all the details on how to put together your own...
Like Plan B?
No, Plan B is not the same thing.
No, that's early.
So
right?
there's the abortion pills, the two pills that you use to primarily get rid of an early, like first trimester embryo. But then when you go to, but if you go back a ways before these pills were legal, which wasn't that long ago, there is self-extraction, which comes under menstrual extraction. as a generic term. And there's an apparatus you can build to make that happen.
Whoa.
And that
I
was
did not
documented
know
in
that.
a book. I have that book.
I assume it's out of print?
It is out of print. Is out of print. And that's part of the reason why I feel like that information, even if you never use it, it is good to have and disseminate.
Makes sense to me. It's the hacker way.
Yep.
It's really shitty that it's come down to this, but
I was very pissed that day.
hopefully.
I was pissed the previous days too, but I was exceedingly pissed and hurt that day. Okay. So let's see, where else were we? Oh, we were talking about conferences we might go to, conferences we were thinking about going to, conferences we're probably not going to, conferences we need to work out. Let's see, what else?
I have a couple of things that caught my eye recently that I'd love to talk to the people at some point on the podcast. But if anyone's following the Asahi Linux project, which is the basically porting Linux to the Apple M1, M2 processors, and they basically reverse engineer all the things and have Linux booting just fine on the new M1 Macs. Actually, Linus Torvalds just did his last the last Linux release or kernel release from an M1 Mac using Asahi, which was pretty cool. So that is one of the coolest reverse engineering projects out there right now that's active. It's funded by supporters, and it's doing really awesome work.
Yeah.
And it would be awesome to talk to Mark and the team at some point.
Yeah. I wasn't laughing at the serious progress that was being made there. I was just looking I was looking at some of our numbers and laughing.
Oh, you want to talk numbers? Let's talk numbers.
Yeah. Okay, so I was incorrect. The most listened to podcast ever is 26A. The Easter egg one.
The one that broke all my scripts.
Yes. But you know what's so funny about it is our first 3 episodes, you look at the first, 7 days, 30 days, 90 days, we got no plays on those first 3 episodes, not at all. And that makes me laugh.
Libsyn changed metrics early on, so they don't have data on the really, really early stuff. So I wouldn't trust it for the ultra old.
But then you get to number 5, and all of a sudden we have a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, it was pretty soon after we started using it that they switched.
I see. Okay. So what else was very popular?
Well, so like you mentioned, Rick's episode Car Servers and FPGAs has probably one of the most. Then there's Jerry Ellsworth. You can lose in so many colors,
aka 26A, but part 1.
Part
I still think about that all the time. When it just makes me laugh every time I think about it.
It's episode 24 and 26.
Yeah.
Pretty close together and really popular. Then we had episode 4. Was that with Micah, of course, which was kind of the inspiration. Micah was the inspiration for the podcast, and that was episode 4.
Yep.
And then we had episode 5 also, and Ken Sheriff, of course, the master of reverse engineering. I just saw another post. He's always coming up on Hacker News and Hackaday everywhere. He is just taking things apart left and right.
I would love to have him back. Did you missed out because you didn't come to the reverse engineering meetup the Wednesday before Hardware IO. You missed out on his talk about the SID chip.
Oh, cool.
Which is important. It was really good. It was like definitely worth it.
Yeah, no, I mean everything Ken does is totally pretty impressive.
Yeah. Let's see. Then we have a bunch of our tools parts 1 and 2. Which one was It's Not Magic?
That's with Schneider. We did the Iridium reverse engineering at TorqueCamp.
Okay.
I also have fond memories of that one.
Mhm.
Old
What's
timey
oh
name dropping it.
yeah, what
That
is
must
that?
be Phillips, right?
Oh, yeah, was that when we started talking a lot about Sunnyvale?
Yep. Philip Frieden. Yep.
Yep, that sounds the history of Sunnyvale for everybody who did not want to hear it.
Hey, so
But now you know.
what one of our Apple Podcast reviews mentioned there is a Silicon Valley element to the show, so I especially recommend it if you can. Yeah, if you can visit the reverse engineering meetup that spawned.
I would say, like, when they said that, I wasn't sure, do you mean actual Silicon Valley or Silicon Valley the show? Because that's the other thing that's changed
I
in
feel like
5 years.
actual Silicon Valley.
Okay.
I don't think we embody the show very well. I'm sure we've worked in these companies, but I don't feel like we fit the.
Oh, the stories I have. Side note, if you really wanna get a sense of the agony of watching Silicon Valley, check out the website, I hope it's still up, startupsanonymous.com.
Oh,
It is just naked confessions of fucked up things in Silicon Valley. Yep, there you go.
uh,
I'm sure Mike Judge pulled from it a lot. Oh, also, Beavis and Butthead, they're coming back.
I've never. Yeah.
You're young.
Oh no, it was there when I was a kid, but I just never
That was never a kid
got it.
cartoon.
I know. No, the only I don't watch that many of those shows, to be honest. I've never really watched The Simpsons or
I
Family Guy
yeah.
or Rick and
I don't like
Morty.
yeah, I don't like well, let's
I
let's
know
let's
about
go that
them.
let's go about it in order. Simpsons, I would say maybe the first or so season it was okay, but I had known them from the previous show, the Tracy Ullman Show. Family Guy, I can't stand. I cannot stand. Rick and Morty, I can understand why you wouldn't see that. You sound like Morty, according to my household.
I still haven't seen it, so
That's probably for the best.
it's Morty
The
the Doc
kid.
Brown. Oh, the
No, the
kid.
kid.
Okay,
Rick Sanchez is the old guy.
all right. It's
Okay.
like I know kind of the gist of it, but
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty good sci-fi. It's like Adventure Timey and but more fucked up. There you go.
no, I watch more like anime and that kind of stuff. But
Mm, okay. Okay. What else? What else? What else? What are the other
I think we should do a bunch of thank yous to our
Oh yeah.
listeners,
Yep.
our
We've drawn
patrons,
on enough.
our
Yes.
reviewers. We have a few reviews, and there's a recent one from Maxwell Doolin, Strikeout. And I just thank you so much. We really appreciate it. It does mean a lot. Same people and came up in person and let me know. Or, I don't know if it's happened to
Mhm.
you, Jen, as well,
Mhm.
where they say, "Hey, I listened to the show. I really appreciate it. It's always fun to meet listeners."
Yep. It's always creepy when people come up to you and say, "I recognize your voice," and they
Yeah,
know who you
that
are.
that happened at Tour Camp.
That's happened. Yep. That's
I mean, that
happened at
happened
every
in
conference.
Germany at Chaos Camp too. That was the most fun. I was waiting in line to fill up with my
Yeah.
water bottle, and then I was talking to someone, and somebody behind me is like, "Wait, are you
Are you the
the show
guy?
without a name?" I was
You're
like,
much
"What?"
different. They all the show without a name? Is that what how it's
Yeah.
referred?
Early on, that's like I mean, that's how I met Schneider for
Mhm.
the episode 13 is not magic. We were waiting for the Tour Camp ferry
Ah, yes.
really, really early in the
Wait,
morning, like at
the ferry being the boat or the ferry being the person with wings?
the boat. Before the ferry. Um,
I don't think that made it better.
Before that,
Before that event occurred.
yes, we were waiting. Just parked the cars. I think we had like a
Yeah.
couple hours to wait, and there
Yep.
was a group of hacker-looking folk that it
Mhm.
was very clear that they were there for tour camp. So we
Yeah.
went. I was with Lenore and Wendell from
Oh, yeah.
Evil Mad Scientist
Mhm.
Labs, and we went over to just kind of chat and see what was going on.
Yeah.
And we're introducing ourselves, and I hear, "Oh, are you the Alvaro from the podcast Without a Name?" And it was this crew from the UK,
Oh,
and
yeah.
from Germany,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's how I met Snyder and them.
Ah, okay, 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 okay. That reminds me. Did you know? Well, okay, everyone knows because I interviewed Eric on that day. The open circuits book.
Yes,
That
actually, I have some news on that.
oh
So yeah, Eric and Wendell worked on this super cool book, Open Circuits, where they cross section components, devices, and they have
a
amazing
lot.
photographs.
Yeah.
So one of the No Starch Press marketing folks reached out to me
Mm-hmm.
and about like, hey, have you heard about this book, kind of thing. So I was like, well, actually, we we know them both. We've
Yeah.
interviewed, so they're actually going to give us a discount code for folks who do want to buy it.
Ah.
And I don't have it now, but I'll Alvar from the future is going to come in here and say what the thing is.
Spoiler
And
alert! Spoiler alert! Well, I
yeah,
guess that's not
and
really a
it'll be
spoiler.
in the show notes. But if you want to purchase the book or digital early access copy, all that stuff, we'll have a code for you, and I
Absolutely.
highly recommend it. All right, it's Salver from the future here. The discount code for 25% off is just one word, no spaces, unnamed RE25. It's also in the show notes. Awesome book. Check it out. I got a chance to visit Wendell last week and Lenore last week at their Evil Mad Scientist labs at the actual lair.
It's findable on the map, guys. It's not secret.
Well, no, it's like an actual. You can
It's
Google
evil.
Maps it.
It's not secret, okay?
But it's awesome,
Yeah.
and I got to see a lot of these in person.
Yeah.
I got to see the photographing setup
Mhm.
Wendell has, and
Mhm.
also they're two of the most lovely humans.
Yes.
I mean, Lenore was her first Patreon supporter.
Yes, she
I don't know if you
was.
remember that.
Yes.
So yeah, yes. So definitely check out that book if you like photos of understanding how things work.
Yep.
Eric does a great kind of explanation threads on Twitter. We've talked about a lot of them, but this book kind of is that, right? But on a beautiful,
in a coffee book format. And I only know this because I was pinged last, maybe it was 2 weeks now. If you do the early, you will get access to these really nice desktop and mobile phone backgrounds.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Yeah, and we're not sponsored by this or any kind,
No,
but
we're not sponsored.
these are our friends, and we really love what they're doing, and any way we can help,
Yeah,
I'm
and
down.
especially if you're like a photography nerd, there is a section of the book that explains how they did the photography for these.
Yes.
Yep.
And if you're curious, Wendell was in the Embedded FM podcast recently and talked about that. Chris White right after was like, I need to buy more lenses. So
yeah, that's not a surprise.
Yeah. The whole setup is incredible.
Yeah. So let's see, what else do we have? Any other like reviews, shouty outies? I don't think that's gonna be a thing.
Like a belly button.
That's my belly button yelling at me. I don't think so. I hope not. Let's see. I don't know. We like depending on where you go for your reviews of podcasts.
We're sus about some of these.
We looked beyond Apple and we found this chartable place, which we don't want to toot our own. Yeah,
machine learning generated.
Yes, because this one's a little hard to believe. 10 out of 10. Very interesting and good place for discovering the gear out there.
But hey, no, if this is real, thank you so very much.
Thank you. From the Netherlands. Also, Alvaro and Jen host excellent conversation about fascinating engineering topics. Discussing insightful advice to engineers out there. That's from the Philippines somewhere, in theory.
I think they're real. They're just not on the U.S. Apple Store, and that's why I can't see them. That's my main suspicion. But
yeah, one's from Great Britain, Japan.
we really appreciate
Yeah.
all of these. Even though I think some of you are a little too kind.
Yes.
Alvaro, the host and Alvaro are very jovial and knowledgeable. I don't know about that, but
I'm
thank
not a
you.
happy person, and I suspect my knowledge is not up to snuff anymore.
Yeah, no, my knowledge has evaporated over time.
Yeah.
But we try, and I feel like it helps not knowing all the things, because then we can ask all the questions that folks might have.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Any other ones? Do you want to run down our our Patreon list?
Do you have it up?
I'm popping it up now. We have big shouts out to John C. I'm going to butcher this. Lachlan Willis. Drew, which we talked about earlier. Joe C. I think Joe Crail. Enrico. Dan. Dan Darby. Another John. William Jackson. Max Dublin. Mike Freisinger. James James Chambers, former guest, also Patreon subscriber. You're too kind. Jevin Sival. I apologize in advance for butchering everyone's name. Jans Christian Hillerup, who I got to send some stickers out to. Ahiko Nagata. Bob Ada.
Akihiko,
You're
right?
right. Akihiko. You're right. I do not have my glasses on, and that's entirely my fault. Bob Adams, Wyatt Neal, Richard Gopstein, Jaco Schmidt, John Kelly, Applied Science. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
NZ Smarty, Dale Robson, Gabriel Campa, Adrian, Dan T, Paul Sajna, David. I apologize. I'm not going to say the last name because I would mess it up badly.
K.
David K. Thank you. Raphael G. Internet user. Haha. Randy Glenn. Allison Chaikin. James Griggs. Elliot Scott. Julian Rendell. Brian Redbeard. Who you did meet.
I did.
Ben Mason. Ewan McNeil. Jeff Trull. Todd Zebert. Zebert? I used to call my cat that. Kevin Sullivan. Keith the EE. Thanks, Keith. Zach. Brandizzle. Former guest. Ross George. Gareth. Former host. And Lenore. Number one.
And I want to say, Gareth, you were sorely missed at Tour Camp. I think if Gareth was there, I would have interviewed people, because he was the one always like, Alvaro, this conversation right now, why aren't you recording it? And then we did.
Yeah. It is hard. It's really hard to do that. And there was like people at Hardware IO I wanted to interview, and they were so popular, it was hard. And now they're gearing up for DEF CON, and it's hard to get their time again. And it's like, ugh.
Sick codes. Yeah, no, and Jen and I, we are talking about some ways to maybe make that easier. The setup we've been using to field record is not the most. It is portable, but it just takes a lot of time to set up, and just the inertia. Like,
and I lost one of the little moof covers, and somebody found it and brought it to me. Like, my God, so many parts. Yeah,
the fuzzies.
They'll sound. Anyway, what else do we want to get out of there? Because it's 5 years. Oh my God.
I mean, that's all I've got.
I think we told us.
Oh, we're scheming. We're scheming. Maybe making some 5-year shirts.
Yes, that was my anniversary gift to you, Alvaro.
Ooh.
Glad I thought of it. So we're in the proofreading stage, which is very important for us to have.
Work in progress.
And it entirely depends on what the name of this show will be. So.
But
the audience, so Alvaro doesn't know that I've left Easter eggs on this recording. So you'll find them during the editing phase.
What?
You left.
Oh, no. That is true.
No,
I
you
don't usually
don't,
do that.
because we usually have a guest here. Anyway, we're not gonna waste your time here. We don't know what the plan is yet for the shirts. We're hoping that they will be available, um, probably for purchase, probably just at cost. We hope. We're not really our resources, our expenses on this podcast are pretty minimal. So,
And yeah, the thanks to our
yeah.
Patreon supporters, that's
Yes,
all covered now.
absolutely. Yeah. So, there's a t-shirt coming, hopefully soon.
Yeah, you will hear about it in our Discord, and
Yeah.
we'll put
Mhm.
it on Twitter
Yep.
probably.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
that's
that's
it.
it.
I can go back to work now?
Back to.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. 4 days a week. Ooh.
Oh no, that's not what I. Earlier today, you said I haven't even
Shut
started
up.
working
Don't be
yet.
putting this on the podcast. I swear to God, if you put this on the podcast.
People don't know what time it is. It could be 8 a.m.
No. Then that meant that you texted me at 5 a.m. That is weird.
I mean, it wouldn't be off
No, it
character,
wouldn't.
so.
But you know what also wouldn't be off character? Me texting "I love you" to you when I meant to somebody else.
It's always great when you realize, like, oh shit, wrong person.
So, for the audience, I've
I'll be home soon.
also think I've
Like, the fuck?
accidentally done this to, Dimitri, also a former guest, who I think is involved with somebody.
Oh yeah, don't ruin his relationship by mistake,
No,
please.
I would never forgive myself. Okay. We should probably close this out.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
almost at an
so
hour,
bye, guys.
so. All right, have a
Okay,
good one.
bye. Woo! Happy 5 years!